Hi, this is Rabbi Shari Shamah, and this is my Moment of Torah. This week's Torah portion is Korach, and inside this Torah portion, we hear of a story about Korach, Datan, and Abiram, who waged a revolt against Moses and Aaron. Now, you might be wondering, why did they need to wage a revolt against Moses and Aaron? Weren't Moses and Aaron just trying to do what God asked them to do, to lead the Israelites into the promised land, to lead them to a better life? Why did Korach need to revolt? Well, we don't necessarily know why Korach and Datan and Abiram and 250 Israelites along with them revolted. The Midrash does say, perhaps, that it was family jealousy, that Korach was next in line to be leader and it didn't happen that way, and so he was jealous and he was merely acting out of jealousy. Or could it be that they were inherently evil people? We don't know. What we do know is that when Korach said to Moses and Aaron, "Who are you that you think you are better than us, that you put yourself above even the eternal?" Moses and Aaron were upset. The next thing Moses did was fall flat on his face. And Moses did the appropriate thing as a leader. He said, "You know what? I'm not going to decide this. God will. So take an offering, put it in a fire pan, and if your offering is accepted, well, then you know that God is acting on your behalf. And if not, then we'll know that perhaps this is not an appropriate thing for you to be doing." So what happens? They take the fire pan. Now I have to stop for a second, because whenever I hear fire pan, and I've had this for as long as I've been studying this Torah portion, I have this image of the fire pan, and it's kind of crazy. But it's this cheap, old pie plate. I don't know if you can read the insides, but it says Poppin' Fresh Pies. This is like a precursor even to Baker Square. And they're just cheap old tins that my mom used to get a stack of from all those pies. And this is the pie plate that I use for Passover to roast my shank bone and to roast the egg. It's pretty much all I use it for. But somehow, whenever I read about fire pan in the Torah portion, this is one of the images I have. I can promise you, in Korach's time, it probably wasn't a Poppin' Fresh Pie plate, but at least you have an image. So anyway, back to the Torah portion. So Korach, Datan, and Abiram bring their offering. They put incense in it. They light it on fire, and no sooner do they do that, but the ground opens up, and they are swallowed along with everyone else who is instrumental in this revolt. And we are taught a very important lesson, that it's not okay to stand up to God when you're doing it out of evil ways. We're not saying that you can't challenge God. We're not saying you can't take a stand. I don't think that's what the Torah teaches at all. I think the Torah teaches that when you have it inside in your heart and you're doing it for all the right reasons, make a stand if you're passionate. But if you're doing it out of jealousy, if you're doing it to be petty, if you're doing it just to challenge authority, maybe that's not what God wants from us. And that's my moment of Torah. And I hope as you think about it, and you think about the lessons in this week's Torah portion, you will think about causes that perhaps you really want to stand up for, but you'll also think about why they're important to you, and why it's important to take a stand. So Shabbat Shalom.